Well, I promised earlier this week if I didn't get the order I made from Traditional Shaving that I would try out a Schick. Now, this is kind of an interesting razor. It was made after the Super Speed of Gillette and has a little bit different head geometry than what you're typically going to see on most modern day and vintage razors. It's got a very flat silo door compared to the curved one of both the Gillette Super Speed 40 style and even a Tech. Standard silo opening, plastic handle. Not a bad little design, though it is relatively light. So I'm going to start up with making a lather, and I'm going to go with the GLF Trump Violet today. Still using my very large paintbrush with Silvertip hair. And this is the first time I've used Trumps. So have to see how it goes. Load it up. And I pick up a whole bunch of different soap samples from on Badger and Blades by Sell Trade in the vendor's corner. So I found that both the Anchor glass containers and the Petri dishes that you can pick up work great. Although you really want to have the soap preheated if you're going to try and do it into the Petri dish. And don't try melting it directly into the Petri dish, they deform. So I've got my soup mug again and my brush. This is basically what I always make sure my foam is both doing and looks like. Very small bubbles with good holding peaks. I might be wrong on doing that, but works fine for me. I've been out of the shower a little longer than what I'm used to. I'm going to go with the style that I use when I'm in the truck stops, and it's either earlier or later in the day. I do it a little different as I don't put the lather on first and then hold the hot towel, but it works fine for me. once again, one of the things you really want to do is work that lather into your hair. Make sure that the brush lifts a lot of the hairs up and get some standing at attention, just waiting to get mowed down. So, I'm going to start off with a new shark blade, as I have never used this razor before. Not sure its aggressiveness. Handle's a little slippier than I expected with the curling that it has on it and everything else. Really slippier, even more so than my Edwin Jagger. So noticing two things. One, it's really light, but at the same time it doesn't feel cheap. So I'm having to use a little more pressure than I'm used to keep it on my face. But as you could see, I wasn't pressing so hard that it was indenting the skin. And I think that's really the sweet spot, because you're not going to be scraping off skin when you're doing that. I'm just going to grab my Alum a little bit, get a better grip on this thing. So now, across the grain. You know, I'm not liking this a whole lot because I'm not getting a lot of feedback as to where the blade is on it. That is one reason why I really, really like the R41. You can always feel the blade on it. Tell where that sucker is. So you get very good feedback as to your blade angle. Now, as you can see, I'm pretty much presentable at this point with just the 2 passes. If any of you are having issues with neck irritation or anywhere else, stop at this point. You get to shave again tomorrow morning. And again, if you go really quickly, next morning. Unfortunately, this is about 4 days of growth for me. I shaved on Thursday before the Great Shave. That morning, actually used a Gym Micromatic open comb with Persona blades on it. See if we can get this thing to focus. You can see the blade gap on this isn't very much. The head geometry is such, it's very close to everything else on the blade. Doesn't give a lot of good feedback. So, now for the against the grain pass. It's a very understated scent. Makes a good lather though. Not quite as good as the Tobs or the Prix de Providence that I've been using, but it's functional. Now, since this is such a mild razor, as I'm finding out, you're going to want to push harder. Do avoid that instinct. Now let's see how I did. Now at this point, you've already gotten the hairs underneath them, gotten them to stand up with the brush. You're in the final pass. You're just trying to get rid of anything that might be a little bit rough. Well, apparently, according to Mantic, if you're older, that might be your own skin. So, take it gently. And check later. certain point, you gotta just stop. Can't get it perfect. Now, I like to rinse with hot water. And splash with a little cold afterwards. I finish off with an Alum Bloc. As I said, I've got the Osma Bloom. What I use at home. I also have the Schick one that comes in a plastic case for on the road. Give that a second. And clean up everything. So when you go to clean off your brush and it still looks like that, it's not clean. And this one takes a little longer since it's such a large knot. It takes a little more effort to get all the soap out of it. I like to swirl it in my hand under the water, like I'm making a lather in my palm. And when it stops feeling soapy, it should be clean. Then I just brush it in my palm to dry it off. And just pat your face dry. And fortunately, since it's not too dry out yet. Still using the Ogallala. Got a sampler pack from them. Oh, what, 5 months ago. I use the sandalwood down there every day. And a couple of the other flavors when I'm at home. And those are the peppercorn and spice and sage and cedar. And still almost full on all of them. So I find that makes my skin not feel dry and oily after I finish up. So that's it. The Schick Krona. It's a very mild razor. It's difficult to tell where the blade is in it. You can't feel that. It's damn near perfect for someone starting out. You're very unlikely to end up hurting yourself. One of the interesting things about it though is it does on the guard have some lining designed to help grab the skin and pull it a little tauter and bring the hair up into the head. So if you're looking for something a little milder than a Super Speed or an Open Jagger, the D89 series, definitely check out a Schick Krona. Peace.